You ask anyone in modern St. Pete Beach or downtown St. Petersburg if they remember a bridge named the Friendship Trail Bridge, they'll probably answer thinking, "What the heck? Are you a psychopath? And are you on cocaine?" But at one point, the Friendship Trail Bridge was one of the best pedestrian bridges in the world, covering 2.6 miles. To put in perspective, that's 4 harborside apartment complexes. Wait, actually 5 harborside apartment complexes lined up in front of each other 5 consecutive times. To put in perspective how large this pedestrian bridge was, it was the largest pedestrian bridge in continental United States. But nowadays, no one really hears anything about it. That's probably because doesn't really exist anymore. But what happened to it? How was it built? And who had the money to make it? Welcome to another episode of Harborside Uncovered / St. Pete Uncovered, because I renamed it, episode 3. At its peak, the bridge looked a lot like this. This was shortly before it was destroyed in 2007. But in order to understand the bridge's full history, we have to go back to 1956. In 1956, which is when they first built the bridge was actually known as the original Gandhi Bridge. That's right, everyone knows what Gandhi Bridge is. Gandhi Bridge is the bridge that connects St. Petersburg to Tampa. And obviously, at least everyone's traveled there at least once to see their weird Uncle Jamie who lives in the worst neighborhood imaginable. The Gandhi Bridge was named after some dude named Gandhi, probably. I don't really freaking know. But this pedestrian walkway explains why it was so long. That's because it was originally a mega superhighway, but pretty much it was way too small for the average person to go on. So they turned it into, instead of destroying it completely, in 1980 they renamed it to the Friendship Trail Bridge and did a little bit of modifications, but never really fully remodeled the bridge. So since 1956 they haven't remodeled the bridge at all, so there was starting some rust to form. But this is normal on any bridge. So for a few decades it was fine and went through the inspections perfectly fine. The bridge went on for a good few decades until 2016. Wait, no, 2008. Yeah, kind of early, and it only lasted around 10, 12 years. But how did it get destroyed, and why did it get destroyed? I'm going to tell you that in the next clip. Long story short, in 2008, inspectors found a large amount of rust and corroding in the bridge, and they came to the conclusion that the bridge would collapse by 2010. So they found out that demolition would cost around $10 million, and remodeling the bridge would cost around $15 million. And because of a lack of funding, they had to destroy the bridge. And because of how big it was, it took a while, and the construction project only ended until 2016. But that brings up the question, does anyone actually remember the bridge? And if they did, had they ever been on it, and was it even any good in the first place? In order to do that, we're going to have to do an interview. Before we get to the interview, it does bring up the question, did people actually protest to bring the bridge back? Well, the answer is yes. But the thing is, nobody really cared. Well, actually, correction, a lot of people cared. Actually, a few 100,000. But nobody who mattered cared. Anyway, now I'm going to do the interview. Long story short, we couldn't find anyone to interview, so instead, here's me T-posing. Please subscribe. Please subscribe. Please.